They are said to be the backbone of every family, but more often than not, their efforts are overlooked because fathers hardly spend time with their children like mothers do. The concept of stay-at-home dads, however, is gradually becoming a norm, with many fathers taking over the mantle to run the daily affairs of the home. As the world marks Father's Day, we spend some time with one man who has taken on the role of both mother and father to his 3 children, as his wife serves the country in a different land.
My name is Ibrahim Fosubuatin, and I'm a lecturer at Western University College, and also the Dean of Students of the university. I'm here with my kids, and it's unfortunate that we didn't meet my spouse. She's a foreign service officer and currently on a duty tour in Madrid, Spain. So I'm here with the kids, So it's not been easy with kids, just opposing kids and then job at the same time, and then academic duties as well.
Mr. Fosubuatin gave up his job in 2011 to move to Cuba, where his wife and first 2 children had been since 2009. His goal? To ease the pressure on his wife as far as looking after their children and working as a diplomat was concerned. After some years in Cuba, Mr. Buatin decided it was best to return home with the children as the education system in Cuba wasn't very favorable.
As I was fighting to get a long leave so that I could go and then come back to continue my job, the contract in my job was not allowing me to of that much time. All that I could spend by going is 36 days, working days, as my leave. So having a meeting, engagement with management of the company, back and forth. All that happened was that, look, if I want to go for that long period, like 3 months, I was looking at the period of 3 months for them to grant me that 3 months period to go and come, but it didn't materialize, and so what happened was that I had to tender in my resignation letter and then go in support of these kids. And so in 2011, September, I remember, the month, I tendered in my resignation letter, and then off I go to Cuba. I was attending to them. I prepared their foods for them to go to school, and then when they returned, also I fixed their food for them. So basically, I was in Cuba just to take care of them. Until 2014, I realized that my first child, Jeremiah, could start class 1 here, but there's a system in Cuba such that the educational system quite differs from what we have here. If you are not 7 years, you are not writing. So all this while that my children were going to school in Cuba, they were not writing, So I realized that writing has become something difficult for them. And so if I don't bring them to Ghana here and we wait for the time of duty tour of my wife to expire and we come here, it's going to be very difficult for them. So I had a discussion with my spouse, and then we agreed that I come with the children, I come with the kids. By then also we have gotten another kid over there in Cuba, so the children became 3, which is Royce. And I have to fly all the way from Cuba to Ghana, and it wasn't a good experience at all, because the journey was very long.
Due to their educational background and language barrier, it was difficult finding a school to accept Jeremiah and Michelle when they returned to Ghana. But their father wasn't ready to give up.
Unfortunately, in Ghana, everywhere you take them to school, they ask you that we want to test them before we admit them. We want to test them before we admit them. And it was very difficult for them, because I know that when you test them, they will not pass, because they don't even know how to handle pen or pencil, how much more to... But they were speaking Spanish altogether. In Cuba we speak Spanish, so they were biased in that language. But what helped me so much was such that the television that we were watching, there were some movies we watched on television for kids that were purely in English. And then also we were also communicating with them in English in Havana. So that helped us a lot. So they could express themselves in the English language. But aside that, they were also biased in Spanish. So when we came here, I think about 4 schools that I went with them were all test before we took them. And I knew very much well that when we test them or try them, they will not pass. And so my last school that I went to, I devised a strategy, because I realized that those previous schools that I went to, anytime I go there, I go straight to the headmaster. Okay, and the headmaster will go there, calling the various class there you want to go, their teachers, and come and say, look, there is a man here with his kids. He says that the kids cannot read or write. Can you admit them? And the teachers will say, no, in my class we are reading, so if they can't read, they can't write, there is no way I could accommodate them. And so I got those experience. So when I was going to the last school, what I did was to lobby. Just go to the various classes that my children want to go. I went to their various teachers and I told them that, look, I was very frank with them, and told them that, look, these are my kids. This one is coming to class 1, other one is going to KG, but they can't read. What I want to do to help me, I want to engage them as classes and help them to read and write. If you can do that for me, I'll be happy. And so I sit down there and negotiate with the teacher the number of days and hours that he could do that. In each of them, I go there, and I was able to lobby my way out to the teachers. Once the teachers accepted that, then I went straight to the headmaster. Once the headmaster went there and called the teachers, and I've done my work already, the teachers came that, oh, no problem, headmaster, let's try them for 1 term and see how it will fare. And so it happened that after the term, they did very well. They impressed, they were improving, so they were left in the school.
In a country where women are usually the ones expected to quit their jobs to take care of the home if the need arises, one may wonder why Mr. Fosu Boateng decided to take this sacrifice for his family.
Remember that job hunting in Ghana is very difficult. Okay, and if you look at her job, the fact that she is going outside the country, and say don't go or go and come back to resign, and then search for a job again is going to be very difficult for her. But I have been in the system, okay, and I have also gone further in terms of education. So when you put the two of us together in terms of education, and then I felt that, look, if I lay behind, if I step back over there, by virtue of my certificate, I could get a job easier than her by her resigning over there. So it takes two to tango. Okay, so we sat down and then we decided on all that. And at the end of the day, we said that, okay, you can go and then let me be behind. Thinking that I always have the edge to go to school, to better myself and then come back to the workforce or to come back to the job field. So that is what necessitated the action of me staying behind for her to go. I'm always happy when I'm at the helping side to try to make sure that I wipe a tear. I make sure that I could support somebody to be where the person wants to be, or for the person to be happy. That is my encouragement. That is my motivation, inspiration that I have. And so coming into that motherly role fixed my character that God has given me so much.
As difficult as it was to get the children admission, it was equally hard for Mr. Boateng to get a job on his return to Ghana, as he was looking for a part-time job so he could take care of the children. After completing her service in Cuba, Mrs. Fosu Boateng was again posted to Spain. Having missed her offspring, she requested for the children to join her again.
The idea wasn't sinking with me very well, because they had a case that they struggled in Cuba, and then they were here and we had to struggle to find them school, and now they are coping. So finding themselves in another Spanish country again is going to interrupt in their education, because over there with another Spanish bias they're going to speak. So I find it very difficult, but a marriage is about two people, okay, so you always have to find a win-win situation. So I agreed, and then I took them to Spain, Madrid, and then I came back to Ghana. Fortunately for me, I got a job at the university to teach, So I was here alone, and they were there with their mom. And there again, I realized that, look, all their curriculum is totally different. Everything is about Spanish. And soon their mother will come down to Ghana. So when they come to Ghana, what are they going to do? Are they going to speak the Spanish, or where are they going to start? Remember that they're also growing in itself. So I just had, an interaction with the mom. And then we all agreed that we should bring them back again to Ghana. So I went there and I brought them to Ghana. But remember that when they went to Madrid, because of language barrier, so they took them very back. When Prof was living here, I think he was in class 4. Yeah, he was going to class 4. When he went to Madrid, he was taken to class 2. And then also Michelle too was taken down, demoted, all in the bit of helping them to learn the language before they could get on to the accelerated program. And so they were there all right, but they were not going forward. Rather, they were messed back in time. So I said, no. Having had a discussion with the mom, we agreed that they should come back to Ghana and then continue with education. So I went there to Madrid, brought them back to Ghana, and looking at their age and where I want to place them in terms of class in school was also challenging. It was very challenging because they wanted to test them again. as usual in Ghana. And I knew also very well that when they test them, they will not pass because of the kind of class that I want to put them. But I wanted to put the first born prof in class 6, and then the second one, Michelle, now in class 5. Now somebody who was in class 2 in Madrid going to class 3. Now bringing him to Ghana, or in class 6 is going to be very difficult. Okay, and so I told them that, look, don't worry, just try them for one term in their various classes. If they're not able to perform, I'll come to you that, bring them back. Because I knew what I was going to do. I was just going to replicate what I did at Zanosu. So quickly we came home, and I told them the situation. I told them, in fact, they are now growing, so they could reason with me. I told them the situation at hand and how all of us could help ourselves, okay, to make sure that the class that they've given us for this term, they are just monitoring us. That if we don't do well, they're bringing us back. So we need to help ourselves. So quickly we came back home, and everything, every day, what we do is that to engage them fully. You see me as a teacher teaching them like I have no heads. First thing that I make sure that they should do is to read very well and understand it, because I told them that, look, you can be very good in class, but if you can't understand the question, how are you going to pass? How are you going to read it and pass? So know how to read and understand the question, know what the teacher is saying. That's very important. And so we didn't just joke with our reading at all. We took our reading seriously, and then we were there with the books, going for all the textbooks that we were giving them, going through them one after the other with them in the house. And trust me, by the close of the term over there, they perform creditably. You will love it. You will love it. To the extent that they said that, I didn't know that the children were good like that. I said, no, you don't know what has gone on. You don't know what has the effort that has been made in them for them to see.
How is Mr. Fosu Boateng able to combine the duties of taking care of his children all week round with his duties at work? He shares with us what a typical day for the family is like.
When you see us every morning, we run helter-skelter to make sure that we meet all the headers of the day, more specifically for the kids especially, so that they will not be late in school. Latest by 7:30, they must be in school. So around 4:30, I'm up, and you see me running to the kitchen, fixing breakfast, and then also getting to the washroom, fixing the water for them to take their bath, ensuring that their uniforms are intact, their shoes and their socks are already intact, so that after taking their breakfast, they put on their uniforms, and then off you go. We get into the car, and then I make sure that they get to school on time. It is only when they get to the school at 7:30 then I feel that a whole burden has been taken away from me itself, and it is not easy. But mind you, it is only a short while, because by 3:30 I must go back again into the school and then pick them. The difficulty aspect of it is such that, at times at 3:30 I'm not done with what the work I'm doing at the university, but they are closed, and I must rush down all the way from the university to the school to pick them back to the university. And so before I do that, before I go to their school and pick them, I come home, pick their foods, keep them on the trunk of the car, and then get to their school, pick them, and then send them to the university. Okay. And so whilst over there, I fix their lunch or their supper for them to take, and then I'm also on my work, doing my work. When they are done, I come back to let them attend to their homework. Those that they can do, I let them attend to them, and those that they can't, I keep them when we come home. And so in most cases, when they are done everything, I bring them to the lecture hall where I'm working. Sometimes you see them dozing off because of tiredness. And so at the end of it all, when the day is done, we all come home. It's only when you come home, that is not enough, that is not all. And they now come to take their bath. And when they take their bath and they are sleeping, I'm now going to flip through all their books, what they did at school and what they couldn't do. Sometimes, if it's getting to the night, I don't wake them up. I let them go to bed, and I handle all the assignment. That is bad. And so but because of nature of time, I can't let them come back again. I can't let them up because it's late. So I do the work, and then over the weekend, all the work that I did, that I didn't teach them, I go back one after the other with them, so that they could understand it, not just that the work has been done for them and then they're getting their marks in school, but when you do that in the examination, they will fumble, they don't understand it. So over the weekend, that is why you see me going through all the books, all the work that I did for them. You go through to make sure that they understand, so that they can be able to perform very well in school. There are times that the excessive washing that I do for them, it damages my fingers. I remember there was a time that I was going to Nigeria on behalf of the university. I also double as the PR for the university. you know, and as a marketing person for the university, I marketed the university. So I was in Lagos, where I was doing a presentation and also presenting a paper on behalf of the university. And I had two of my fingers, this ones here, as you see them nice over here, they were very badly damaged. Very badly damaged. So they were there in my pocket. Anytime I'm speaking over there, I couldn't bring them out, you know, because of how badly they were. Now, thank God that they are. But I also have this one recently, quite recently, you know, due to washing, and then kitchen chores over here being damaged. But God be merciful. God being so merciful, it is coming back again to life. And my children used to ask me, Daddy, don't put your hand in water. I said, if I don't put it on in the water, how am I going to prepare food for you? How am I going to fix food for you?
Like every loving husband, Mr. Fosu Boateng usually wishes for the presence of his wife. Here's why.
But sometimes I need to take some immediate decisions, and she is not around. And sometimes when you place a call to her, maybe she might be at work or something, and the response will not come. In that case, you must take your decision and move on itself. And so, yes, you feel them. And then also, you know, I don't like the idea where I will be with them, raising them alone without a mom. That affection of motherly affection over there, that bond, I don't want you to cut. And so, what I normally do is to make sure that almost every day, I place a call to them on a video call by virtue of technology now. And in this social platform, they could speak to their mom live, and they could spend hours on it, having all the conversation, the fun with them.
It is about time, he says, Ghana learns to appreciate fathers as much as they appreciate mothers, as they both play important roles in the home.
Our role is not recognized by society, you know. That is why it is obvious for kids that they go to every length to make sure that when the Mother's Day is up, they make sure that the mothers are celebrated. You know, men are not given that recognition in society, you know, except a few people who will appreciate that. But in Ghana specifically, I think that men are not given that recognition at all. Appreciate fathers so that we could do more. It's only when you support us that we could come out with the best things that are inside us. But where you gag us, and then you don't appreciate what we do over there, then we also shy away from some of the responsibilities that we need to do. So appreciate us. Let the world hear about the good works we are doing.
Well, Jeremiah, Michelle, and Lois appreciate their father's sacrifices and have this message for him on Father's Day.
Daddy, I appreciate all that you have done for me. I appreciate that you care for us. When we are sad, you make us happy. You buy what we want for us.
I appreciate that when we are sick, you take care of us.
Daddy, we love you.